So how is he passing his driver's test if he doesn't understand complex things? Because the last time I took a driver's test, which has been many years, but they ask you questions like, how many feet you're supposed to be behind the car. They ask you questions about.
American Justice Vault.
Court is calling 2022 CR 1223, State of Texas versus Felipe Salazar. Now parties announced for the record, please, for the state.
Marcus Sanders.
For the defense.
I'll go be representing Mr. Salazar, Your Honor.
And are you Mr. Salazar?
Yes, ma'am.
Defense, I'm showing you the discovery acknowledgement. Have you received all the discovery in this case? And did you review it with your client?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am, I have.
All right, the court will find that the state is in compliance with the discovery. Mr. Salazar, I'm showing you what's entitled True Bill of Indictment. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, do you waive the reading of the indictment?
We do, Your Honor.
State, are you proceeding on the indictment as presented?
No, Judge, we're proceeding on count 2, waiving count 1.
That's my understanding, Your Honor. There's no
Any
objection to the waiver.
objections? Any objections?
There's no objection to the waiver.
Mr. Salazar, I'm showing you what's entitled Application for Deferred Adjudication. Did you review this document with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you sign it?
Yes, ma'am.
Next, I'm going to show you what's entitled Court Admonishments and Defendants Waivers and Affidavit or Admonitions. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you sign it in all the appropriate places?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, you're charged with in count 2, failure to stop and render aid with a moving vehicle. The range of punishment for that offense is up to 5 years in TDC or prison with a possible fine up to $5,000 and up to 1 year in the Bexar County Jail. Did you understand that to be the range of punishment?
Yes, ma'am.
If you have a plea bargain agreement with the state, the court does not have to follow your plea bargain agreement. If for any reason the court does not follow your plea bargain agreement and gives you more than you bargained for, the fact that you entered a plea will not be used against you. You will be allowed to withdraw your plea. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand you have a right to jury trial, a right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state will call on the right to remain silent?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand by entering this plea bargain agreement, you were giving up those rights?
Yes, ma'am.
And did you intend to give up those rights and enter into a plea bargaining agreement in this case?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand that the court were to grant your application for deferred adjudication and for any reason or revoked, the court could sentence you up to 5 years in the prison?
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, has your client been able to provide you with any offenses to this offense?
He has, Your Honor.
Do you believe he has a rational as well as a factual understanding of the charges against him?
And that's my opinion.
Do you believe he's currently competent and was legally sane at the time of the offense?
Those are my opinions, ma'am.
Mrs. Salazar, has anyone threatened you, forced you, or placed you in fear to get you to enter this plea?
No, ma'am.
Has anyone promised you anything other than the plea bargaining agreement to get you to enter this plea?
No.
Are you satisfied with the way you've been represented?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you a U.S. citizen?
Yes, ma'am.
Court will find that the defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived his right to jury trial. Showing you the plea bargain page, did you review this page with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, ma'am.
According to the plea bargain agreement, punishment is to be assessed at 5 years in the prison. There's a $500 fine. State opposes your application for deferred adjudication. State recommends community supervision.
That's the
There's to be
probation.
restitution payable to Andrew Gomez and Carolyn Haywood. There's to be no contact with Andrew Gomez or Carolyn Haywood. Did you understand that to be the agreement, Mr. Salazar?
Yes, ma'am.
Defense, is that the agreement?
That is the agreement, ma'am.
State, is that the agreement?
And Judge, I apologize. There's a couple corrections.
Mhm.
Andrew Gomez was named in the indictment, but he's not a victim, so we can remove his name from the restitution as well as the no contact. And then we also agreed to TIC County Court Case Number 671850.
And that is correct, Your Honor.
All right, if you all would like to initial and remove the part that you wish to remove. So then, according to the plea bargain agreement, punishments to be assessed at 5 years in the prison. There's a $500 fine. State opposes your application for deferred adjudication. State recommends community supervision. State will take in consideration 671850. There's to be restitution and no contact to Carolyn Haywood. Did you understand that to be the plea bargain agreement?
Yes, ma'am.
Defense, is that the plea bargain agreement?
That is, Your Honor.
State, is that the plea bargain agreement?
Yes, Judge.
Next, I'm showing you the paragraph entitled waiver of appeal paragraph. Did you review that paragraph with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you sign it in both places?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand by signing that you're waiving your right to appeal? The only items that can be appealed are written pretrial motions that have been filed, heard, and ruled upon by the court. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, have there been any such motions?
There are none, Your Honor.
Next, I'm showing you outside the plea bargaining agreement. The state is requesting that your community supervision be for a term of 5 years. There'll be a TAP evaluation, 150 hours of community service restitution, and the aggressive driving course. Did you understand those are recommendations from the state, and the court does not have to follow those recommendations?
Yes, ma'am.
Then to count 2 in the indictment, how do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest?
No contact.
State any evidence.
Yes, the state offers states exhibit 1 and its attachments.
Any objections?
No objection for the purpose of this proceeding. Ma'am.
Mr. Salazar, I'm showing you what's entitled waiving consent to stipulation of testimony and stipulations. Did you review this document with your attorney? Did you understand it? And did you sign it in all the appropriate places?
Yes, ma'am.
Again, did you understand you have a right to jury trial, a right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state will call, and the right to remain silent?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand that today the state will be presenting evidence in the form of witnesses' statements and police reports, but most importantly, there will be no live testimony? Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Just a moment. All right, so there's extra writing here.
Yeah, it's
About
said
the
as a
defendant.
no contest plea, ma'am.
No, I know it's a no contest plea, but he's entering this plea and he doesn't have the right to remain silent if I want to ask him questions about this case.
Oh, yeah, there's an addition there. It says unless and until. One never knows what questions are coming. I doubt you'll ask him about some other crime, but these rights are continuing rights and can be urged by you at any time in the proceeding. And so it's a theoretical possibility that something outside of this matter could be asked of him by the prosecutor judge, theoretically. And
No,
for
that
that reason,
I understand what you're saying, counsel, but no, that can't be in there. If he wants to invoke his right to the Fifth Amendment, he can do that. But for any question related to this case, any question related to this plea, he's giving up his right to remain silent.
That's
So
what it
adding that
says.
caveat, well, then that needs to be removed because it already says it in there.
okay, I believe that it says exactly what you're saying, but if you're recognizing that, well, it's really not important. It's just an abundance of caution.
If you don't have to find an issue on that, please.
I'm here.
Thank you.
There you go. Yes,
So, Mr. Salazar, you do understand by entering this plea bargain agreement, you're giving up your right to remain silent in this case. You understand that?
Yes, ma'am.
And knowing that you still wish to go forward with this plea?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, the court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived and consented to stipulation of testimony and stipulations. Court will accept into evidence states exhibits 1 and attachments and review the same. All right, reviewing states exhibits 1 and attachments, the court will find there is sufficient evidence to find you guilty. Court will defer finding of guilt as you apply for deferred adjudication. Are you proceeding with sentencing?
yes, ma'am. We're ready to proceed if the court will let me make presentations to the court about some issues.
Yes.
So if I'm a little bit less than direct, it's only to be very, very polite. Mr. Salazar has some difficulties with things that are complex, maybe not so complex for you and for I, but he finds some things complex that ordinarily one wouldn't find complex. The reason the state is not recommending a deferred adjudication is that he has a prior offense of this nature. And that is because he does have some difficulty with complex issues. It's kind of like intellectual limitation, difficult to argue.
So why is he driving?
No, it's not like that. It's just he has trouble with complex issues, not mechanical skills, not
So
motor
it's
skills.
complex to stop if you're at an accident?
Well, so he has a misunderstanding about something, Your Honor. It's actually a type of crime in some countries in Latin America to have a motor vehicle collision. It's a crime in the civil realm. And somehow or another, he was confused about that. I have explained to him that if he has a collision, he has to stop and stay at the scene. And he now understands that. He never really got that before. And that's why, and I didn't represent him in his prior plea.
Okay, so his prior plea, I'm assuming that someone told him
No,
if
no.
he was charged with, was his prior plea the same thing, failure to stop and render aid?
I think he had a prior offense like that.
Failure to
correct?
stop and give info.
Right.
All right,
Yeah.
so he knows he needs to stop.
Well, I don't know that it was adequately explained to him because he has that kind of difficulty. Ron. I now know it's you understand now in a collision, you stay at the
Yeah,
scene,
I'll
right?
stay there. Yeah, I'll stay there.
So how is he passing his driver's test if he doesn't understand complex things? Because the last time I took a driver's test, which has been many years, but they ask you questions like, how many feet you're supposed to be behind the car. They ask you questions about when accidents happen, or if there's an emergency vehicle, do you pull over to the left or do you pull over to the right? So I understand this complex, difficult
That's,
thing.
yeah, those, what you've just articulated is not particularly complex. This is a concept that he just really didn't grasp in my discussions with him.
Okay.
I can tell you that, I went to great lengths to break through that, but it's a simplicity thing, if you will.
I'm just having a hard time understanding what is complex about, I hit a vehicle, I need to stay instead of going blocks away or wherever he was, I don't know how many miles it was, changing his tire. And he had damage to his vehicle and damage to the other person's vehicle.
He gets that now. I don't believe he got that before, Judge. This is my honest representation to the bench.
But isn't changing the tire complex?
No, not at all.
Okay. All right, I understand. Do you want to call him as a witness or not?
No, ma'am. No, it would just kind of, no telling.
Okay, all right. All right, state you're opposed.
Yes, Judge. Our position is because he's committed a similar offense back in 2013. He was convicted of it. He's been given deferred on a lesser ground before, so he's been on probation. He's been given opportunities. He's still committing offenses. Don't necessarily buy the defense that Mr. Doki is raising, and so that's why we're asking for probation as opposed to defer.
And in brief reply, he didn't necessarily buy it. He's not interacted with the gentleman to the degree that I have. I'm telling you, I have encountered this kind of.
No, I
intellectual
understand, and
challenge.
I understand you have a different communication with him, and the state hasn't
Right.
communicated with him.
Right.
So I see here aggressive driving course. I don't think he needs an aggressive driving course. I don't think he needs to be driving. And isn't the aggressive driving course, won't that be complex?
Well, so I don't know, not having taken it. I'm telling you that I have had some difficulty explaining some things to this gentleman. I am confident that his waivers are voluntary and he knows what he's doing here.
And he's confident.
Oh, yeah, yes. But there's a whole range there, ma'am. I'm just telling you that he has some communication difficulties, I have found.
All right.
So I just ask you to not give him, to give him a final chance to not have the effects of a felony conviction on his record. That's what I'm asking for.
All right, Mr. Salazar, is there anything you wish to say?
No, ma'am.
You sure?
You can talk to her if you want. You want deferred adjudication so you don't have a felony conviction on your record?
Yeah, I want.
are you gonna obey the law now?
Yes, I obey the law now.
You now know if you run into somebody or they run into you, whatever,
I'll
you
stay
have
there.
to stay there.
Yeah, I'll stay there.
Well, I mean, state you have questions?
I do, Judge. Has he been sworn in or?
No, he was sworn in by the clerk,
Okay.
so he's under oath.
Ms. Salazar, where were you born?
San Antonio.
Okay. So when your attorney mentioned other countries that not being an offense, you're aware that it's an offense here, correct?
Yes,
Okay. And did you grow up here in the United States?
yes.
Have you ever lived outside of the United States?
No,
And when you committed the offense in 2013, you were placed on deferred for that? When you hit a vehicle and you drove off?
Mhm.
What did you learn from that incident?
I just, I need to stay in, where the accident was.
Okay, so you did learn that back in
Yeah.
2013.
I just got scared and just took off.
No further questions, Judge.
Any other questions, Mr. Goku?
Yes, so Felipe, when we were in the back, we were talking and I asked you, well, why did you leave? And you said to me, because I was afraid I would be arrested, right?
Yes,
And I told you, well, you wouldn't have been arrested if you hadn't
scared.
left,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And then you said that you always get arrested if there's a collision, but in fact, you had
Yeah,
left before, right?
yeah, I left it. Yeah,
You now get it that when
sir.
there is a collision, you stay.
I'll stay. Yes, sir.
Yeah, it was, I'm telling you, there's some communications that were very, very difficult for me, man. That's what I'm trying to say.
So, Mr. Salazar, so what you're saying is you left the scene because you thought you would be arrested?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right, are you employed?
Working, yes.
What do you do?
Diesel mechanic repair.
All right, I don't understand the aggressive driving course request because this is an aggressive driving issue. I don't see anything to suggest that he was driving aggressively. I think this is he doesn't stop and give information like the law says he's supposed to. So, you know, he needs a course on give information when you're in an accident.
He got
I
that
just
from
gave you
me.
the course.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, this is what the court's do. Court's gonna find you guilty, sentence you to 5 years in prison, suspended and probated for 5 years. There's a $500 fine that will be probated. Taking consideration 671,850. Restitution and no contact with Carolyn Haywood. 150 hours of community service restitution. 40 of those hours will be waived if you provide proof of the COVID vaccination. The court is not requiring you to get the COVID vaccination, but if you do, 40 of those hours will be waived. There's to be regular reporting to probation by Zoom or in person. If you're drug tested today, what are the results going to be?
The judge is asking you if you take any kind of drug.
Oh, no.
Okay. There'll be regular UAs. Field visits, 1 time per month, regular. And I'll put in here the aggressive driving course. Once you complete the aggressive driving course, the remainder of your community service hours will be waived. Proof of employment within 15 days. There's to be no employment as a home health care provider or with minors. Probation, is there anything else that he needs?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Salazar, is there anything else that you need from the court?
No, ma'am.
All right. I'm going to show you what's entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Rights to Appeal. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it and did you sign it?
Yes, ma'am.
Because this is a plea bargain agreement, because I followed your plea bargain agreement, and because you waive your right, Mr. Goki,
Oh, thank you.
Because this is a plea bargaining agreement, because you waive your right to appeal, and because I followed your plea bargaining agreement, you do not have the court's permission to appeal. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Because this is a felony conviction, you're not allowed to own or possess any weapons or ammunition. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
If you have a question over what a weapon or ammunition is, you'll need to speak to your attorney. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you understand that if you're involved in an accident, you must remain?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Is there anything that you don't understand about the law of failure to stop and render aid, or failure to stop when involved in an accident?
I understand now.
All right, thank you. Probation will be out to talk to you. Good luck to you.
All right, thank you.
He walked into court already knowing the system because he had been through it before. A second chance had already been given, and still, when it mattered most, he made the same decision again: to leave, to walk away from a crash instead of staying to help. And this time, the court made it clear there would be consequences. The judge didn't just hand down a sentence, she sent a message. Driving isn't just a privilege, it's a responsibility. And when someone chooses to run instead of help, they're not just breaking the law, they're abandoning another human being in a moment that could mean life or death. 5 years suspended. 5 years to prove he can follow the law this time. But one mistake, one violation, and that sentence becomes very real. Now the question is, will this be the moment that finally changes him, or just another chapter in a pattern that keeps repeating? Because in cases like this, it's not just about what happened in the past, it's about what happens next.